Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing well tonight. I want to start by saying thank you for letting me share this with your community. I've been carrying this story for nearly 3 years now, and honestly, I need someone to hear it. Maybe validate that I wasn't losing my mind during those shifts. My name's Sarah, I'm a registered nurse, and what I'm about to tell you happened during my night rotations at St. Catherine's Memorial Hospital. If you've ever worked overnight in an old hospital, you know that feeling. The one where the fluorescent lights hum a little too loud and the hallways stretch a little too far. But this was different. Let me set the scene for you. St. Catherine's was built in 1952, and by the time I started working there in 2021, it had that worn-down, forgotten atmosphere that comes with decades of sickness and death. I was assigned to the 4th floor, the geriatric ward. My shifts ran from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., 3 nights a week. Standard routine, medication rounds at midnight and 4 a.m., vitals checks every 2 hours, and responding to call lights. Simple enough, right? It started during my 2nd week. I was doing my midnight rounds, pushing my medication cart down the east corridor. Room 412 was at the very end, an empty room that had been vacant for maintenance issues. As I passed it, I heard it. A rhythmic beeping, not the steady pulse of a heart monitor, but something off, slower, almost deliberate. I stopped, my hand freezing on the cart handle. The sound was coming from inside 412. I told myself it was just faulty equipment left behind, but when I looked through the door's small window, I saw the bed, perfectly made. And sitting on the edge of it was a figure in a white hospital gown, facing away from me. Their shoulders were hunched forward, and their head was tilted at an unnatural angle, like they were listening to something. My heart was pounding, but I'm a nurse. I'm trained to check on patients. I knocked softly and pushed the door open. The beeping stopped instantly. The bed was empty, perfectly made just like I'd seen it, but no one was there. I searched that room top to bottom. Nothing, no equipment, no source for the beeping. I backed out slowly, and as I turned to leave, I felt it, a cold breath on the back of my neck, and I swear I heard a whisper, "Still here." I didn't tell anyone that night. I convinced myself I was overtired, that I'd imagined it. But the next shift it happened again. Same time, midnight, same room. This time when I looked through the window, the figure was standing, still facing away, still in that white gown. But now I could see their feet. They were hovering about 3 inches off the floor. My breath caught in my throat. I didn't open the door this time. I just stood there, frozen, watching. And then, slowly, the figure's head began to turn. I didn't wait to see the face. I ran back to the nurse's station, my cart abandoned in the hallway. The 3rd night, I did my research. I asked the older nurses about room 412. That's when Maria, a nurse who'd been there since the 80s, pulled me aside. She told me about Elena Finch, a patient who died in that room in 1987. Elena had been a long-term resident, suffering from advanced dementia. She used to wander the halls at night, always in her white gown, always looking for her daughter who had stopped visiting years before. One night, she collapsed in that room during a code blue. The staff tried to revive her for 18 minutes. The beeping I heard, Maria said, matched the rhythm of the defibrillator they used on her. Elena was pronounced dead at 12:14 a.m. Maria warned me, "Don't go near that room at midnight. She's still looking." I wanted to request a transfer, but I needed the hours. So I did what my grandmother taught me. I started carrying a small vial of blessed salt in my scrub's pocket and wore a silver cross my mother gave me. For 2 weeks I avoided that hallway entirely during my midnight rounds, taking the long route through the West Wing instead. It added 15 minutes to my shift, but I felt safer. Then, 3 weeks ago, I had no choice. A patient in 410, right next to Elena's old room, had a medical emergency at 11:47 p.m. I rushed down the east corridor with the crash cart, focused entirely on saving a life. We stabilized him by 12:10 a.m. As I was cleaning up, I realized where I was. Room 412's door was directly across from me, and it was open. I hadn't opened it. No one had. The motion sensor lights inside flickered on, and there she was, standing in the center of the room, facing me fully for the first time. Where her face should have been, there was nothing, just smooth, blank skin. No eyes, no mouth, no features. But I felt her seeing me, watching me, judging me. I gripped the cross around my neck and whispered a prayer my grandmother taught me, the lights flickering violently, and then she was gone. The door slammed shut on its own. I reported the incident to my supervisor the next morning, citing safety concerns. They sealed room 412 permanently the following week, citing structural issues. I transferred to the day shift shortly after. I still work at St. Catherine's, but I never, ever go near the 4th floor after dark. Here's the thing that haunts me most. The night of the emergency, when I saw her face, or lack of one, I understood something. Alina wasn't trying to scare me. She was still searching, still waiting for someone to see her, to acknowledge she was still there. And maybe, in some terrible way, I gave her that. If you've made it this far, thank you for listening. If you've ever experienced something like this, or if you work in healthcare and know that specific kind of fear, please let me know in the comments. And if this story gave you chills, hit that like button and subscribe, because sharing these stories keeps them alive, and maybe that's what these spirits need. To be remembered, to be heard. Stay safe out there, everyone. And if you ever find yourself in an old hospital at midnight, trust your instincts. Some doors are meant to stay closed.